After silence on the local front for 2 days, that is Monday and Tuesday, we're certainly back in full swing. And what better way to get back into full swing than knowing that we now know who the final field for the Met, which will be run Saturday week at the Kenilworth Racecourse. That is Racecourse, of course. And we look forward to that. 11 runners in total, and of course, another chance for the Snaith Johnson combination to possibly pull off another Met victory. But we're talking about midweek racing. We're going to the country course, Durbanville, in the Western Cape, and we start off with an 8-race program at 12:30 with the first leg of the bipod getting underway then. But we won't be able to negotiate our way through the two cars that we're going to be discussing this morning without the man on my right, Daryl. Very good morning to you.
How you doing, Seth?
I'm very, very, very well, and looking forward to your input, because I think just this Durbanville card had me at sixes and sevens, and then of course, I'm sure we will. You'll make sense of it all for us. I mean, it's the first leg of the bipod. How do we survive?
I'll share the same sentiments because my perms are quite costly.
They have to be, and I think anybody would have to be understanding of that.
Race 1, there's a comment for Mr. Nell's first timer. Doing well, but might need the experience. Now, I had a look at her breeding. Her half-sister Thingamabob won over 1100.
I believe so, and it's lightly raced, huh? About 6 runs or something like that?
Yeah. Now, Cesar, these are open maiden, so she's making her debut. She's having to give Me the Power and number 7, Rafish Trend, a lot of pudding. 5.5 kilograms. So I think she's going to have to be above average to make a winning debut. Now, Me the Power had excuses last time out. She cast her shoes. She pulled over the 1400. I like the fact that she's coming back down to 1250. Number 7, Ravish Trend. You can see they tested the exact same race behind Got the Look. And Me the Power holds her. But she is 4 kilograms better off. And since then, the stable of Adam Marcus is absolutely firing.
Flying.
She comes back to fillies and mares her own sex. So I respect number 7, but I do have a preference for Me the Power. I think with the draw this time round in her favor, she should finish in the top 2, but I've played the safe route. I've gone them both. I've gone with numbers 2 and 7. Just to touch on the form lines, the form line of Ravish Trend was franked with District Power. And the form line of Me the Power was franked with 7-0 Trump. And Kubu ran a lovely third in her post maiden.
Now, what about the form line? Just as we round off, we're looking at your bipod perm. The winners that have come out of that 3 Island Jewel. Although the Island Jewel wasn't really up in contention. 4 winners I see. Elusive Gift,
very good.
American Beauty, Gift to Fly.
Very, very strong, but you have to take note that she doesn't really have a rating yet. She's only had 2 starts. So if carrying 60 in an open maiden or 60 and a half might just be a little bit too much.
Thank you so much. That is Mr. Marie's bipod. 480 Rand is the total outlay, and your favorite at 28 to 10 is in the board source 2. Give Me the Power, and it's the first leg of the bipod off at 12:30. Okay, so we get to the second of our exotics, getting underway with race 2 on the card at 1:05. This is a maiden plate rather than being an open, but just a maiden plate. It is over the 1600 meters, and favoritism at 14 to 10 is the Snaith runner number 12, Prairie Dawn. Andrew Fortune gets a ride for the first time. Lightly raced, only the 4th outing for number 12, Prairie Dawn. The 4, Mukana, is at 5 to 2, I beg your pardon. The 6 is at 8 to 1. It is 9s and better, bar those. Scratchings in race number 2, the 3, Zagreb is at the moment the scratching of the race. Join the racecourse Turf Club maiden plate over the 1600 meters is where we head to next, Mr. Marie. And the Montessori is not one that I've even mentioned in the betting, and that is quite easy to back at 10 to 1.
I actually like Montessori. I think he's a runner, yeah. He's obviously appreciated the step up in trip in his last start. He's got the draw. I think he's a player. I wouldn't be shocked. Now, if you're using Waloya Yomani as Lanos, there's absolutely nothing separating Mercenary, number 4, and number 12 Prairie Dawn.
Yes.
Waloya Yomani ran third behind both of those runners last time out. I'm a little bit surprised to see Prairie Dawn at the top of the boards. I respect his chances. We obviously saw Summerstone frank the form. He came out to win last time out or over the weekend. And Prairie Dawn made up a lot of ground in his later start. I don't know what Andrew Fortune's going to do from that tricky draw. What I can tell you is that he was meant to run in that race where District Master won and he was scratched coughing 2 weeks ago. I respect his chances. I think the favorite might be Mercenary come race time.
Yes.
I only found one too good for him last time. Now take note that was in an open maiden and he gave the winner a lot of weight, as much as 6 kilograms. And he's improving with each and every start. I like the fact that he's in a maiden plate this time round, level weights, and he's going to go very close to winning. If you have a look at number 6, Bonelli, you'll see he ran behind Ocean Sky last time out. Take note how that form line worked out in the first race, because we got, who was it? Ravish Trend running from that form line. I thought he caught the eye in his later starts, and you can see he's now having his peak run off the gelding. However, he is held by Mercenary on that Navison form line, where they were both having their second runs. I went with numbers 1 and 4 in the PA over here, but obviously I've got a healthy respect for numbers 6 and 12.
Okay, 1 and 4 is confirmed on our PH slide. And again, the outlay will be 480 Rand. In the next leg, which we are heading to as the first leg of the Pick 6, that's where you really have to tread cautiously. 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. 5 horses in that place accumulated. Let's hope we negotiate that and get the right one come through. 13:45 is the time to take note of. It's the Social Squad Syndicate Open Maiden Fillies and Mares over the 1600 meters. So we're back to our Open Maidens. And it's got to be said that, of course, the race that the ownership is named after have certainly backed racing in a big, big way. They do have quite a few runners in this particular race as we speak. But favoritism comes from the Candace Bass stable, and that is Amaya, who is at 4-1. Then it's 6-1 about the 3 Rare Earth, one of the social club runners in race number 3. Number 2 is Elisa Mbali, who's at 13-2, about the 7, that is Greek Heiress, and also 13-2 about Lebombo Gold. It is 7s and better bar those. Scratching is the 13 My Sunshine. That is race number 3, leaving us a field of 13, and it's quite topical, Mr. Marie, that the mother of our week favorite once won at the Met, if memory serves right.
Yes,
River Jatez.
That's correct. And she was written by Glenn Hatt. Eh?
Glenn Hatt, yes, indeed. And I remember a very good friend of yours, a former colleague of ours, may his soul rest in peace. For months he had been preaching River Jatez. He was taking all to comes. And not one did he take as a win into River Jatez. It was a place River Jatez, place River Jatez. And then I was with him when the race ran. And I think people in Cape Town heard him shout.
Hit them hard.
Hit them hard. Hit them hard.
Yeah, number 12. She was meant to run recently. I think she got taken out at the Pens, intractable or injured. Says, if you go back to the run beyond Red Barrel, you'll see number 2 actually beat her, and number 2's better off at the weights. So I've excluded number 12 from our play. Now, by now, we'll know how that form line has worked out, because we need to touch
yes,
on
it's
it
the
again.
third horse again from the Ocean Sky form line.
Yes, Benelli and Ravish Trend
Yes.
in races 1 and 2. In saying that, District Master did frank that form. Now, number 3, Rare Earth. She's sort of at her best or most effective when she goes handy. Last time out, she fluffed it at the start, and yet she still beats number 7, Greek Heiress. And she's better off at the weights with Greek Heiress. But Greek Heiress herself might have run a little bit below par, so I'll put them both in. Number 5, who is she? I watched her last start, her second run, and she broke beautifully. She was up on the pace, and she never gave. She fought hard all the way to the line. She never gave in. That form line has been franked with Lark Song. I would have liked for her to have one more start and then have a rating, but she's set to carry 59.5, and I think she's going to love the step up in trip. And then you got Richard Free on number 8, Lebombo Gold, whatever Justin puts him on, has got a winning chance. I think their strike rate proves that. So I've gone all of numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. I don't particularly like the look of the race.
So the 12, you're definitely browsing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. And of course, the outlay is 1,080. When the man said it was an expensive set of exotics, not as expensive as I feared. I think 10% of that would see you splash out 108 Rand. Be mindful of the off time to raise 313.45. Right, jackpot time. When we get to race number 4, we're back to our open maidens. This is a Lucky Fish Book of Poseidon Open Maiden, and we're going over the 2,000 meters. And right now, the scratchings read numbers 9 conditionally, and recently number 10 a Spanish verse. So that leaves us a field of a 9 to face up, and the 1 Phantom Man is your favorite, and that will be very short indeed. At around 18 to 10 if you're very lucky. You heard a name mentioned by Daryl earlier on, and that is Waloya Yamoni. That is at 5 to 2. Number 6, Leif Eriksson, is at 11 to 2. It is 10 to 1 and better bar those. So we've lost numbers 9 and 10. Spanish verse would have been given a bit of a chance by our selector, Mr. Main Mirage, to fight out for a stake check. That is out. Phantom Man, Andy Fortune once again for the Andre Nell stable, comes out from a pretty strong form line. We saw, I think, Eric Little win for Mrs. Johnson and Snaith, as well as Richard Fourie in the irons when trying ground. And we've also seen Chasing Gold and Eric's Love. So a strong form line, but Waloyi Yamoni, you alluded to earlier on.
Yeah, now, says Waloya Yamoni clearly has taken some time to get the hang of things, but he's also, in saying that, he's also improved with the blinkers. And since they've been fitted, he's finished quite close up on both occasions. What I want to know is Andrew Fortune's been riding a lot for Justin, and he rode Waloya Yamani last time out, and now he's aboard Phantom Man. I'm not too sure if it was his choice to jump ship, but Phantom Man looks like he's going to get it all his own way. This time round, he's got the stall gate to enhance his chances. He doesn't have to work hard to get into a prominent position. He should really be there for nothing. He does, however, have 61.5 to shoulder. So it's not going to be given to him on a platter. Mm-hmm. He is given his biggest danger 5 kilograms in Waloya Yamani. But if Andrew Fortune has chosen him over his biggest danger, you have to respect that. Now, you touched on the fact that the horse had ran second, franked that form, and won very impressively, Eric Liddell. In that same race was Leif Eriksson, and he holds Leif Eriksson on 2 occasions, and Leif Eriksson isn't weighted to reverse the form, so he should really confirm the form with Leif Eriksson. So for that reason, I've only backed him up with number 3. Now, says we know by now if that form line's been franked with Mercenary, even his penultimate start with Prairie Dawn. So let's see how that goes. I do want to touch on this, that Waloya Yamani is a full brother to a horse by the name of White River, who was a Mauritius champion. And he won over 2,400. So it's interesting that now that Mr. Snaith is stepping up to 2,000, and he could be better than his current mark over this sort of trip. So I've got numbers 1 and 3, the safe route.
Okay, 1 and 3 will be the numbers for race number 4, courtesy of Daryl. We're off with that first jackpot at 20 past 2, and this is one of the lower outlays for an exotic, 72 Rand in total. Right into the second half of an 8-race program. This is Durbanville racing on a Wednesday. 14:55 is the off time to a D stakes over the 2,000 meters once again, and it is an informed duo of jockey Graf van Niekerk and trainer Choppies McLaughlin teaming up with the sixer To the Moon and back, and that is a 33-10. 15-4 is number 3. Beer with the Boys, a little spell in the PE region, now back in the Western Cape. Then you've got the 8 Mela Strength. That is also at 15-4. It is 13-2 and better, bar those quoted runners. A runner that actually caught my eye was the 7 Midway, not for any tipping reasons or whatever, but the money that's the expectations that it's often on the horse and doesn't quite deliver. Your thoughts today, you are considering for your perms?
He's my fourth choice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, he's honest. He wears his heart on his sleeve and he heads off to the front. If not in front, he's handy. But he is a target for others to run him down. To the Moon and back. I mean, not only is this horse in good form, fine form, but the combinations doing extremely well. There's McLaughlin and Grant van Niekerk. Yeah. Just found one too good in his last 2 starts. He hasn't been to the winner's enclosure in 413 days, so you can't get overly excited about his chances, but it certainly looks like the right race for him. Have a look at number 1 here, says Gold Index. Now, the furthest he's been in his entire racing career is 1950. That was on a soft Kenilworth track, so clearly he gets the distance. Now it's 2000 at Durbanville, in that very same race, right? Was a horse called Beer with the Boys, who he beat. So I've included him. I actually watched his last start and he stayed on all the way down to the line. I actually think he's looking for this extra. I mean, he's a 6-year-old gelding, so what you see is what you get. Number 2, the Maiden, double distilled. If you watch his last start, he was far from disgraced. I had a look at his dam because I thought, let's see how he's bred to see if he's going to appreciate the extra. The dam won over 1,200. However, the second dam through Zante, who won the Track and Ball Oaks. So there is some stamina on the dam side, and now he certainly gets much stronger handling in the irons with Craig Zaki taking the mount. He's probably going to be the improver in the race. Another race that I'm not overly excited about. I've gone with numbers 1, 2, and 6. I hope it's enough because you can give chances to 3, 5, 7, 8. I mean, yeah, where do you stop?
Okay. Selections are up. And by the way, let me just ask you, the 7 Midway, the mother was also a Track and Ball Oaks winner, wasn't it? Pacific Lights? Or am I wrong?
I'm not too sure. Was that...
Or am I getting the names mixed up? That is a VAR, Jeff Woodruff's the horse. What is it?
Oh, no, that's Princess of Light.
Princess of Light. Yeah. That's Princess of Light. Right, 108 Rand. That's your outlay to that second jackpot, and it's off time. To raise 5 for 14.55. Talking about exotics, this is the last chance rather, to get involved in a pick 3 whilst we're racing at Durbanville. It is race number 6. It is a D stakes over the 1,400 meters. You can put a line through the To the Night Fairy. That is now a non-runner, leaving us a field of 9 runners. Now, the favorite is a recent maiden winner, and I see our tipster in computer form, Mr. Jermaine Mirage, has made it his best bet of the day after coming out of that maidens at the second time of asking 28-10. The 4 Active Grace, that is at 32-10. The 3 is at 4-1. It is 5-1 and better, bar those quoted runners. Active Grace, we saw those colours to good effect just a few days ago at the Vaal, and it was a horse that I kept resisting to put into my exotics, and much to my chagrin, Rachel hit the front and fought off the opposition in a way. There was a bit of argy-bargy towards the end of the race, if memory serves me, but that's for another day. But those still seem to be in form.
Acts of Grace, yes. That horse, I mean, I went for him, Coppercliff.
Yes.
I went for him and he ran 30, found interference, and then he's won his next 2.
The further he goes, it seems.
Yes,
that was my deduction at the end of it all.
Now, Acts of Grace says if you go to the best weights at column, you'll see she's actually best in over here by 2 pounds or 1 kilogram. I haven't totally ruled her out. She does form part of my pick 6 and my jackpots. She's my third selection. Number 3, Lover's Lane. I mean, 470 days since he last won, but he's ultra consistent. He's always thereabouts and he tries hard. 3 runs back. The only time that Craig Zaki sat aboard him, he found 1 too good, running second to Dawn's Early Lights, over 1250 at Durbanville, and he was running on all the way through to the line, and now it's 1400 at Durbanville. I think this track and triple suits him, so he goes in. And then you got the recent maiden winner. I don't know how they stole him, but they bought him for 40 grand, the son of Rafif, number 1 Kliptown, and he got it right in his second start. If you watch that race, he was drawn middle high up the straight. He got no cover. He was exposed. And generally when that happens, they don't tend to find much. But he ran all the way through to the wire. And this time round, he's got a bit of a draw strike because he's drawn 1. So I know he's got a hefty mass to shoulder, 61.5. But the second place runner, Behave Harris, didn't win directly from that formula. Indirectly. In his second start, he won by 5 odd lengths over the weekend. So that form line has been franked. He could really be underrated, and in time to come, he could prove much better than his current mark. So I've got numbers 1, 3, and 4 over here. Not doing handstands, hoping that I'm going to break the bank in any form of or whatever. But says, yeah, let's try catch this pick 3.
Okay, 1, 3, and 4 by 1, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 4, and 5, and that'll be an outlay of 36 rand. Kliptown, can it follow up? It is the same apprentice aboard, Mr. Bungane, and of course, the ownership makes a very interesting reading indeed. Kliptown, this is a Rafif, hoping to make it a double for the Rafifs after the first race of the afternoon. Okay, so we did speak about the social squad. They have a race named in their honor earlier on, and now they are quite prominent in terms of presence in a race number 7. Let's just have a look at the betting, because they certainly will have a say in that finish. Gujadar Silks are on the favourite, though it is a Champagne Mag, Richard Fourie aboard at 5-2. Now the 4, Bombouche, that's one of the social squad runners, is at 3-1. Another of their runners, the 3, Gravity, that is at 9-2. The 1, Hiawatha Goldberg, certainly been a very consistent model of consistency over various distances, is at 13-2. It is 9-1 and a better bar those. In fact, 9-1 is another social squad runner, and that is the 7 Country Time. Time to hand over to Mr. Marie. It's competitive.
Very competitive.
Yes.
I mean, these horses have met each other time and time before, and have swapped positions on numerous occasions. So you can't really go into this race with confidence. What I can say is there's not much separating Hiawatha, Goldberg, Gravity, and Bombouche. And they're all relatively well drawn this time around. They do come back to 1,000 meters. I would have been more bullish with Hiawatha Goldberg because I liked his finishing effort last time out. I thought he was a little bit out of his ground. If it was a 1,200, because since he's come back in trip, he's proven to be consistent, and this may be what is the distance he performed best over. But I would have liked it to be a 1,200. Then you got Gravity, Richard Fourie, well drawn on a horse that's fairly consistent. He must have a chance. Bombouche, she actually likes this track and trip, and she's got a lot of gate speed. So if she can get to the front easier than what happened to her last time out at this circuit where they cut throats, she'll be able to dictate it and get into a good rhythm, and she can hold them off. Obviously, she's well in over here. She's second best in. And then Champagne Max, since he's been fitted with the blinkers, is proving to be more consistent. So you can't ignore him in a lineup of this nature. Yeah, Cess, probably leaning towards numbers 1 and 4 as my top 2 selections, but a lot of respect for 3 and 5.
All right, so they are the selections 1, 3, 4, and 5 by that 1, 4, 5, and that will constitute the selections for our last double of the afternoon race 7 into the conclusive race number 8 coming up next. Right, so we head to our last of the afternoon, 16 of 45, 12, 50 is the trip. Once again, a competitive contest that lies ahead. But I think a case can be made for a short list here. I speak for the man. I will let him speak for himself. But let's just have a look at the betting itself. For race number 8, which is offered at 16 of 45. Now, this is Durbanville Racing as we prepare to head back to Kenilworth for the big race meeting that comes up in a short while in the next 10 days. Now, favourite is, of course, a runner that has been around, been there, done that, has hardly missed, in fact, hasn't missed out on a stake check since day one, and that is Eisted Ford, and that is Craig Zaki for the Greg Anion stable. Course and distance form makes a very good reading indeed, has been over course and distance twice for a win and a second, so certainly no mug over this sort of a trip, and that is currently trading at 2-1. And then you've got 11-2 about the second favorite, and that is a True Horizon. That will be your second favorite. And then Ways Declaration. We've seen this form line come up earlier on. Recently came out of those maidens and is at 6-1. Now, Miss Marie, Eisted Ford, we see that name come up a lot, and some useful sorts have come up, or it has come up against some useful sorts. Very consistent earner, has already earned 100,000 Rand. And is on its way to paying back at the initial outlay.
Yeah, she's a lovely filly. Done very little wrong. A lot of people have been waiting for her to come back to the 1250 or the 1200 because on paper she's probably run her 2 best races over this course and distance for a win and a second. Strictly with regards to her breeding, by Pitwala Palace out of a Fort Wood mare, one would say a mile. But probably not strong enough, or I don't know what the case is. Maybe she's just at this stage of her career a bit over shorter, so I think she's a massive runner. Then you got number 5, True Horizon. She only picked up £3 for her latest victory, and she won with a lot in hand, so that may prove to be a lenient increase. And have a look at the record between her, when Muzi and her team up. He won and he ran second. I think he knows how to hide this filly away, or this mare, and produce at the right time. I've got a lot of respect for her, or for 57. And then number 1, Sachi One. She probably surprised connections on debut over this very same course and distance. And now she comes back to the 1250 at Durbanville. She's got the draw on her side. The blinkers were fitted last time out. They stay on. She could be closer to the pace from that draw. She won't have to work to get into a prominent position. And her ratings come down 3 points. I think she's a huge run over here. I like the look of number 1, Sachi One. So I've got an exacta box, 1, 4, and 7. And I wouldn't put the viewers off. Perhaps try that in a trifecta box too.
1, 4, 5. That is the exacta box selection from Daryl, as we thank him for a preview to what should be a very interesting and tricky afternoon. Exotic players are prepared to fill your boots.